What is going on, people? Welcome back to another Tarkov video. I am Mr. Turkey Man. This is another survey video. If you haven't seen them before, basically I just go through the survey blind. I haven't looked at these questions before, and I kind of ramble through them, give my thoughts on each question. Then at the end we take a look at the rewards, what you'll get out of it, whether you care about the questions or not. I think it's a cool system. You know, my usual spiel for these, it's great that they're doing this. They should do it more, and they should disseminate more information in game like this. They should reward people for giving their thoughts and opinions on the game so we all get a better product. With that out of the way, if you don't know, surveys are in the bottom right here. If there's a new one, you'll see a green 1. I don't think they've ever overlapped more than one at a time. And they're usually pretty spaced out. They've been doing a bit more here lately, but this is the first one of the hardcore wipe. And from the announcement on Twitter, I believe that is exactly what this is about, the hardcore wipe and your thoughts. As always, disclaimer, life's been busy. I say this like every video lately. And I wanted to do one on the hardcore wipe, but I just haven't had the time, and I've kind of barely played the game as is. I've been mostly playing arena to get the limited time rewards, so I've barely touched hardcore wipe at all myself, but I've watched plenty of it. I keep up with the updates, and I still kind of want to make a video about it, but we'll see if I have time or if there's interest. Anyway, let's jump into the survey. About 2 minutes. They're never very long. You usually always get something pretty good for the minimal amount of time it takes to do this, especially, you know, I don't recommend you do this, but if you don't care and you just click through all the questions as fast as possible, you can do this in seconds, and you usually get something that is at least worth 2 seconds. Let's see. This new survey is aimed at collecting player feedback on the hardcore wipe. You will receive a participation reward in your in-game messages. Every opinion is important. Thank you for helping us make the game better. Start. Which main game mode do you play? I play both. That's true for the most part. Once they announced that PvE would be wiping, I haven't really played it, so it's been a little bit, but I do play both. Mostly PvP, but sometimes PvE. That's kind of, they kind of always put this question in here, so I guess it's important to correlate that with the opinions, I guess. I don't know. How would you rate the concept of the hardcore wipe? I love it. I like it overall, but it has nuances. Neutral. I haven't fully formed an opinion yet. I don't like it. This kind of ties in. I would like to do a spiel about this, and I plan to do it at the end of the video I just mentioned earlier, but I guess I'll do it now. So basically, I do love the idea of the hardcore wipe. I think people that pioneered the idea, like Pestily, have a very specific desire in mind for the game, and you know, and there's always this tug of war, even in regular Tarkov, between casual Joe who can only play an hour or two a night or less, and a streamer who does this for 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? They're obviously going to have such a big advantage, even in the base game, but even more so in a game mode where you are so much more punished than normal. That being said, I think it's fun to experiment with these kinds of things, especially if it's going to be a shorter wipe. You know, we have 1.0 coming up, presumably at the very latest around Christmas, when we normally would have a wipe, but maybe sooner than that, so this could be a shorter wipe. I think it's cool to experiment with that, but I don't think this was a good time for it. With 1.0 coming out, right? This is the time to polish the game and to present the finished product as it stands to the most amount of people possible, right? You want to sell this product so that you're making money off of it for years to come. But if you're saying, hey, our game comes out in a couple months, check it out, and it's the most miserable version of the game you can possibly imagine, that's going to turn people away. You're going to have new people that hear that it's coming out 1.0 soon, but you can play it in early access now. Okay, if it's coming out soon, let me hop in and try it. This is fucking awful. I'm not going to bother with it in 1.0. Refund, or when, you know, I'm not going to upgrade my version or whatever. And then you have people that maybe haven't played in a while, or watch it and don't play it yet because they've been waiting for the final update or whatever for years now, and they hop in now and they're like, oh fuck, this fucking sucks. So they're watching their favorite streamer and they're like, this is miserable. I have no desire to try it when it comes out in 1.0. Because a lot of times too, these people aren't plugged into Twitter, they're not plugged into Reddit, they're not plugged into Nikita's personal output or YouTube. They're just watching their favorite streamer, or they're not doing anything, they're just playing the game. There's a lot of people in the Twitter and Twitch space don't realize that not everybody is plugged into every single social media 24 hours a day. There's a lot of people that probably think that this is just how the game works now. Or from the outside, they haven't done all the research, they don't know the history, they think that this is just how the game is, and they're not going to bother with it in 1.0. What I think would have been a better idea for hardcore wipe is, I don't know if this is still a thing, but once 1.0 comes out, they've repeatedly said, and it's been rumored in the community, so I really don't know at this point if it's true or not, that you're gonna have PvE and you're gonna have PvP, and in PvP you're gonna have character A and character B. One never wipes and one does wipe, so you get best of both worlds. What I think would have been cool is to test that tech of having multiple characters and have one be hardcore and one be not hardcore, and that way people that don't want to fuck with hardcore still have the option to play the game normally. I know it's a tall order and they might not even do this split profile thing anymore, but bottom line, I don't think that doing hardcore now was a great idea, but I do love the idea. So I'm going to go and move my answer down to I like it overall, but it has nuances. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, shoot me a question in the comments so I can clarify it. And I forgot to do it at the beginning. If you want to talk about any of these questions, let me know what you think about any of them down below. Moving on. That was a long rant. I'm sorry. There will be timestamps if you don't want to listen to me yap. Which hardcore wipe changes do you like the most? Multiple options. Disable Flea Market. Increase hideout requirements. Hideout doesn't need found and raid items. Excuse me. Some in my throat. Reduced hideout ammo crafts. Reduce rare loot on locations. Location availability restrictions. Secure container restrictions. Limited trader item range. Reduced item selling price and increased purchase price. 100% boss spawn chance, which not the case anymore as far as I'm aware. I think it was bumped down to 70 and now it's 50. Not the fact check me on that one. Reduced experience for killing enemies and dying. Increased experience for surviving raids. Increased AI difficulty. All right, here's where the nuance comes into play. Disabled Flea Market. The wipe before, where this was a longer period than normal, regardless of your level, was great. And I think for the idea of a specifically hardcore wipe, keeping it permanently disabled is great. That being said, long term, I think it's too ingrained in the game at this point, and they shouldn't permanently get rid of it. I'm cool with like tweaking, which you can put on it even further to reduce the availability of certain things, but in general I think it helps keep the game economy a little bit healthier than normal. That being said, I do like it. Increased hideout requirements, fuck off. No, bad. Hideout doesn't need found and raid items. This is good. This should never have been a thing in the first place. Reduced hideout ammo crafts. Double-edged sword here, especially for noobs. It kind of sucks more than for the streamers, you know, that tug of war I was talking about earlier. Not being able to craft good ammo hurts the average player to the bottom end player a lot more than it does for the top end player. But for the sake of the hardcore wipe, I do like it. Reduced rare loot on locations. I think with rubles meaning less, I guess this doesn't matter too much to me. I'm gonna leave that one unchecked. I think part of the fun of the game is finding rare loot, especially on a hardcore wipe, so that's actually kind of an L in my opinion. Location availability restrictions, fuck off. No, transiting sucks. This never should have been a thing, and I don't even know why it's still an option on this form, because they capitulated on this within the first couple of days of the wipe anyway. So secure container restrictions, I'm conflicted on this one. I think not being able to put meds in kind of sucks, on top of the fact that meds have reduced usage kind of sucks. Not putting ammo in there kind of sucks. However, that is kind of the point of the hardcore wipe. I'm not going to check it off because I don't like it, but I also don't think it's really a bad thing in isolation and in the context of just a hardcore wipe. I would never want to see this in the actual game, but yeah. Limited trader item range also kind of sucks if you're not going to have the flea market. Doing this on top of it kind of sucks, but again, hardcore wipe. Same thing with the one above. I don't think I'm going to check it off as something I like the most, but I don't hate it in the context of the hardcore way. Reduced item selling price and increased purchase price. I think one or the other would have been best and not both. It kind of compounds into just being annoying. I think reduced item selling price would be the better option and keep prices as normal. That way you still have to collect more things to sell and survive more to make money, but it's not like as painstaking. So I'm definitely not going to do that one. 100% boss chance. Fucking love it. I know at 100% off the rip, it was creating some power issues because people were just farming like Tagilla and getting good ass gear and guns right off the bat with basically no ramifications because he would always be there. But again, it's a limited time thing. Who really cares? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has the capability to do this. Again, tug of war. People that can play more can farm more and have better shit. But that's just the case with everything. I don't think that this falls into that same category because, again, Joe Schmo that can only play for an hour a day can spend that hour farming Tequila just as much as anybody else, and then they will have a couple level 6 kits for that hour that they can play the next day. You know what I mean? I think that balance is out there, and it's just fun. People love farming bosses. It negates some of the lulls in the questing experience because you're not farming fucking factory 600 times before you seek Tagilla, and it's just fun, right? It creates more threat. It engages PvP because people are hunting these bosses more because they know they're there. 70% wasn't awful. 50% you're starting to push it, and anything lower than that you're getting to where the wipe would be anyway. So like, I think the higher the better here, especially for hardcore, but in general I think they should increase boss spawn rate personally, but that's just me. Reduced experience for killing enemies and dying. Sure. Take it or leave it. Don't really care. Increased experience for surviving raids I think is cool. I think this should be in the main game too. I think it'll help the curve of leveling and incentivize... as I talk this out loud, it could incentivize camping and ratty play. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the name of the game, right? You got to be prepared for every situation. And I think people should be rewarded for surviving because that is the whole point of the game. Increased AI difficulty. Love it. Always welcome. Although most of the time it can lead to frustrating situations. And personally, in my experience, both playing and watching streamers, I don't really see this. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I haven't played enough firsthand. But it doesn't look like the AI is that much more difficult, if at all. But the idea of it is great. And yeah. They should put it in PvP too, or PvE too. Maybe people will stop talking shit. I don't know. Probably not. Moving on. I've been yapping a lot in this one. How do you like the gradual content? Unlock, locations, tasks, traders. Love it. I like it overall, but it has nuances and aspects I'm not used to. Neutral, I haven't fully formed an opinion. I don't like it. These aren't great answers, I don't think. I would say my gut reaction is I don't like it, or I like it overall but has nuances, and that's probably what I'm going to put. The locations thing, dumb, never should have been a thing at all. Tasks and traders makes sense for the wipe, so I'm okay with that. Same thing with the boss thing, you know. I wish it didn't drastically drop like it has. I think it should have gone from 100 to like 80% or something and stayed there, or 70%, but 50 or lower, just leave it like it was. It's the hardcore wipe. No one gives a fuck. Let's have some fun. Moving on. How do you like the frequency of gradual content unlock? I'm satisfied with the content frequency. I'd like the content to a lot quicker. I wasn't affected. It's too slow. I lose interest in the game. The speed of content unlock was too fast. This is kind of a weird thing too, because it doesn't really feel like there was a cadence to any of it. It was just kind of like, wipe comes out, people fucking hate not being able to transit, so they open a couple more maps. People still fucking hate it, so they open up another map or two. Half the game's open, half the game's not within the first like 3 days. Then there's a bug where they can't transit because it's crashing people's games, so they just say fucking open all of them, right? That's not really a cadence. That's people hate this and they're probably quitting, and there's a game breaking bug. Let's just open all of it, right? The traders seem to be coming out at random, right? Like level 2 happened within the first week and a half or so, and then level 3 like just happened now that we're 3.5, 4 weeks in. What else? The boss spawn rate going down is like 100% off the rip. a weekend, people are bitching that it's too much, so they drop it to 70, and then they just randomly dropped it to 50 again. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't even know. There's not really a cadence to it, so I don't think that this is a... I think if they had a clear, like, roadmap, that would maybe make this a bit easier to answer, but also that would take away from the surprise of it, I guess. But I don't know. I'm just gonna put I wasn't affected. I don't really vibe with any of these answers, to be honest with you, but yeah. Do you think playing with Flea Market disabled is more interesting? I kind of touched on this earlier. Yes and no. I think having it disabled at the beginning of the wipe for longer, like they did with the Christmas wipe previously, was good. In fact, I would probably like it better if they did it longer. If you're unfamiliar, as has been tradition in recent years, and it was different before I played, but since I started playing in like 2019 and more so in 2021 and on, the Flea Market is there off the rip, but you have to be level 15 to access it. So most people takes about 4 or 5 days to a week to get into the Flea Market. For the streamers and shit, that they're night 1, night 2, so pretty much always there for them. And what that does is allows people to get into better shit quicker. In the last patch, it was still 15, but they just straight up disabled it for 2 weeks. And then people were like, this is great, extend it more. So they made it 3 weeks, maybe 4. I can't remember exactly. And that was great. I think they should just do that for every wipe and maybe make it longer, especially if wipes are going to maintain that 6-month block, maybe make it like a month and a half, but then add it back in. I do think that it greatly opens up the game to people who are disadvantaged with time and when they started playing, and people who aren't as good as the game. And I know this is hardcore and we shouldn't pander to those people. However, this is a one-time purchase game with some microtransactions, right? So we want as many sales as possible so the game continues to be updated and supported. So you kind of have to a little bit of give, right? You can't make it so hardcore that no one wants to play it and the game's dead. That's just my thought on it. So I think that the Flea Market is good and they should leave it in. However, delay it like they have this past wipe. And if you want to go even further without getting rid of it entirely, start mitigating even more of what you can't put on. You know, don't let level 5 shit get put on at all in any way, shape, or form. Helmets or armor. Maybe limit some level 4 stuff now too. Limit a couple more things of ammo. Limit a couple more guns. Just allow people to churn the economy a little bit more at ease, and because that's just the fun aspect of the game too. And that's my thought. I think I'm gonna put and not answer. Yeah, because I'm afraid that if too many people put yes, that they'll just straight up take it out of the game, and I don't think that that's the move for normal wipes. How do you like the gradual decrease of boss spawn rate? I hate it. This created a even bigger player disbalance. I don't like it. The economy has already been damaged significantly. Neutral, I like it. Now it's easier to complete raid objectives. I love it. I feel like these are backwards. How do you like the gradual decrease of boss spawn rate? This would make no sense. It would be easier if it's higher, not decreased. I feel like these questions are suffering from maybe a language barrier. And the same thing here. This should say, I hate it. I don't even know. The reducing it drops the gap of the player disbalance because there's less people that have extra gear from farming the bosses. The bigger player disbalance comes with loving it and having it be higher. I'm gonna put neutral. I think this question fumbled a little bit here. Has the hardcore wipe affected your play style? I started playing more aggressively. I started playing more cautiously and avoiding players. I started playing in a group more. I started playing solo. I haven't changed my play style. I don't think it really changed how I played the game personally. Not going to linger on that question. This video is already much longer than expected. Has the hardcore wipe affected how long you and your teammates play the game? The changes motivated us to play more. We keep playing with the same frequency. We started playing less compared to the last wipe. We separated and started playing solo. I play solo. I just think without a doubt that this is the answer. Pretty much everybody I've seen thought it was a fun idea and has played less. Obviously the streamers gonna play a lot still because it's their job, but I've been seeing a lot of complaints even from them. None of my friends are playing the hardcore wipe. They haven't even touched it. They have no desire to play it, even as things have softened up. Yeah, and even the people that I know that I wouldn't necessarily call my friends, like acquaintances, co-workers that play the game, that are still playing it, say they fucking hate it for the most part, if I'm being candid. Yeah, again, I think this is a great idea. I don't think it should be a substitute for the game. I think that was the biggest misstep with the hardcore wipe. And I know you don't want to fracture the player base even more than it might already be. However, I think completely replacing the normal game with hardcore was a bad move, and especially right at the gate of full release. I think a lot of people that might have wanted to play the game now are not playing it, and then that has put distaste in their mouth, and people that would have started playing the game now because they wanted to jump in and get a taste for it before it came out in 1.0 are going to be dissatisfied with where the game is at, thinking that this is how it will be going forward, which is not the case. But they don't know that because there isn't a clear in-game thing that says this is a test and will not be the full scope of the game that is coming out in a couple months, right? They're jumping in and playing it now. It's awful, it's miserable, and that's great for some people and not great for other people, but there's no way of telling that in game, so they think that this is the final product and they're not interested. I hate talking down on it, but I think that is just the reality of the situation. It's a really, really cool idea. I think it has a lot of potential to be fun with some more tweaking. However, it should not replace the game itself. And that's that. I've yapped for 22 minutes now, which is insane. Let's look at the rewards. You go to Messenger. Rapper will give you the rewards. Looks like we got a bunch of crafting shit, and I am correct. I believe this is all the stuff you need to make the AK-50. Obviously I can't because I don't have the proper shit, but yeah, that's that. Even if you don't want to make the AK-50, it's some free money, free RPK at the very least, or if you need any of this for the hideout, that's great. Again, you can click through all those in half a second and get these rewards, so it's always worth doing, at least for that, if not to let your voice be heard. And before I wrap this video up, I do want to say I feel like I was negative in this video. That was not my intention. I'm just giving my honest thoughts in the moment. No script, no looking at these questions prior. I absolutely love and adore this game and want nothing but the best for it. And I hope that this wipe hasn't damaged that in any way. I'm so looking forward to 1.0, and I will definitely be making more videos and shorts, hopefully in general, but especially when 1.0 comes out. And I'm looking forward to getting back into the normal game and progressing and seeing how things develop from here. I think despite the hardcore wipe, things are looking good. The roadmap looks good. I think BSG's in a good spot, and I hope your raids are great. Comment down below with your thoughts on everything. Comment down below how your day's going. I don't know, I'm rambling. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. If not, thanks for watching anyway. I love you. Have a good day. Peace.